This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
Grant yourself permission to go on a journaling power journey in which you shower yourself with endless amounts of self-love. It will be the most glorious journey you've ever taken. You won't need a plane ticket, and you won't need to pack a thing. All you'll need is a pen and a pad or a notebook. If you want to live a satisfying and fulfilling life, loving the heck out of yourself is a must. In fact, the most powerful thing you can do is to love yourself. If you already do, Mari L. McCarthy's books will take it to a higher level. Self-love is at the heart of everything she has written about in her first 2 books, and now it's the sole focus of her new book, Mindset Medicine. Love yourself a lot. It's free and it's simple to do. There are no contracts or memberships to buy, and you can work at it every day in your journal without breaking a sweat. Mari leads you through a wonderful journey of self-discovery and appreciation for how unique and wonderful you are. When you love yourself without conditions, everything you desire will be right at your fingertips. Valeria Teles interviews Mari L. McCarthy, the author of Mindset Medicine, a journaling power self-love book. Mari L. McCarthy, founder and chief inner work tour guide, teaches curious health-conscious people how to use journaling for the health of it, to heal the emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual issues in their tissues. She also shows them how to use this powerful tool to embody and express their true self. Mari is the multi-award-winning author of Journaling Power, How to Create the Happy, Healthy Life You Want to Live and Heal Yourself with Journaling Power. She's also created 20-plus Journaling for the Health of It Inner Journey workbooks that include Who Am I?, Declutter Your Life in 28 Days, and Take Control of Your Health in 24 Days. Meet Mari at createrightnow.com. Here is the interview with Mari L. McCarthy.
In your own words, who is Mari L. McCarthy, mentally, physically, and spiritually?
Today, I would say that Mari L. McCarthy is physically soon to be beginning her 8th decade on planet Earth. Spiritually, I'm on an adventure internally, energetically, to find out more and more and more what it's like and what's all about being a soul in a human existence this time around. And mentally, I would say I'm curious, clear, and very clear on what's a really good part of what's in my brain, and really realizing and cleaning out the clutter of all the other thoughts and programming that had been with me these many years. So I'd say that that's who I am today.
That is beautiful. As I mentioned off record, that this clear idea or concept that we can express with words of who we are. And I love the way you integrate all parts of ourselves, and the physical body being the anchor to all of the other aspects, or the embodiment, right?
The embodiment. I love that word, embodiment.
Yeah.
Embodiment and empowerment. I love it.
Yes, yeah, even better. Right, both of them. So you wrote, this is your 3rd book, right, Mari?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's Mindset Medicine, a journaling power self-love book. So this is part of the Power Revolution series, so the third one. Talk to me about, before I ask you other questions, the main one is self-love and self-care. I probably asked you the question before, but maybe not. Do you see a difference between those two practices or ideas?
I think, again, self-love is the anchor, and self-care is part of the self-love process. So I see that as being the self-love process is huge, very, very big, and self-care is just part. It's really the mechanics of self-love. You know, how you physically, mentally, spiritually care for yourself on a daily basis, and self-love is the whole of who we are, because we are all love.
I love the idea that we are already whole, that there's nothing missing, nothing that can be added or removed, and we are already there. But then there's this other part of us that feels like it needs work, healing, which is also true, right, Mary? The separated self, or the separated, the idea, the feeling that we are separated, which is not real per se, or exactly real. Or maybe it's real and not real. But the question I want to ask you next is about unconditional self-love or unconditional love. Why is that a huge challenge for most people? Or why it has become a challenge for us?
Because of the way we have experienced love from childhood all the way up through adulthood. We come into this world with all our gifts, talents, and then we get all this wonderful adult supervision from teachers, parents, society, and all that. So since we're such sponges as children, we absorb all these things inside. I call the issues that are they become issues that are in our tissues. And because, we really haven't gotten a whole lot of true loving, caring attention. I mean, we had great parents and great schooling and all that kinds, but it's just like that there, the emotional, the guidance, the real specifics as far as, how to deal with your creative self. And it's okay to love yourself, and it's okay to spend time with yourself. Those types of things, we're not there. So as we grow up an adult, we have this, since we haven't dealt with so many of these, as I call them, issues in our tissues, that's why it becomes so hard to focus internally, because there's just so much old programming and old stuff that are in the cells of our body that really need to be addressed. We need to take the opportunity to take a look at those things that we thought occurred in our childhood, and process them as adults, as reporters, as consultants, and just take a look at that and say, oh, that's what it was, and that's what I thought or I felt, and then put that in perspective, so that then you can clear that out of the way or put it on the shelf and go further and further and reclaim your true self and your love. And that's why it's difficult, because it requires a lot of work. You have to go on it's like an archaeological dig. You have to dig and sort through and question and really do some reading and reflection, and just the whole aspect of spending time alone with ourselves is just something that we just don't have a lot of experience in that. In fact, to the other extreme, it has really not been supported by any of our, like I said, adult supervisors or society or whatever. So it's a truly challenging experience to go in, because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage, a lot of other people's things that we've been carrying around. So it's a lot of work. And that's what like I said, that's the challenge with the self-love. Like we said earlier, it's a good sounding word, self-love, but it is a very challenging situation, because it's about changing your life and living your life from the inside out, from what you want, what you feel my favorite 4-letter F word. And that's very, very different. So and we don't have a handbook. We have to really just trust our instincts and just like, okay, well, let's go there, or let's think that, or this, so that's a real challenge. And it's a new experience, and it's a lot of work. And too, it's scary because we've been so much living in our heads and what we think and should and all those structural things. And it's just like getting into ourselves, and self-care and self-love is something very different, because we're getting into feelings and emotions and spirituality that we never experienced before.
Another challenge, has been a challenge for me for so long now, is that trying to balance loving myself and others at the same time, like creating those boundaries, which you talk in your book. So how do we learn to do that? Is that another kind of unlearning, Mary?
Oh, absolutely. Because, the way we were all raised was very much external. And those of us that had a religious background, there's an additional super imposition on us that, we're, the whole thing of self, we didn't talk about self. That's so selfish. It was always focused on the external. So it's like we're going through the process of, coming back home to ourselves. And again, what you said earlier, we're unlearning. So it's just like, and from the logical point of view, when you listen to some of our spiritual advisors, that they talk about, self-love, that you can be the support and the carer for other people and everything once you get to yourself. It's true, but it's just, you're right. It's again something very, very different, because we have to go through the process of sorting ourselves out again, and all the messages that we got. And it's just like, all I can say is that there's just so much in our subconscious. We keep track of every single moment, event, memory, or whatever. So it just it requires, like you say, it is again work, just going through that process. And again, and that's why I think journaling is so valuable. It is the guide. It is the helper to sort through the rubble and help us balance. And once we find out more and more and more of who we truly are, and have the confidence and trust and, as I said, unconditional, everlasting self-love, it's like we have that grounding, and then we can say, okay, this is how we can help others. We can help them heal and things like that. But so you're right. It's a continual learning process about, it's my life. I'm number one. I have the power. I have the strength. I have all those things that they told us we're not supposed to talk about, So it's just, but you get to the point where you say, oh, that's inner critic, so-and-so, or that's mom trying to, push something down my throat or whatever. And you get to the point that because self-love to me is also considered self-management. You're managing yourself and loving and all the aspects, but being honest and open about who you really, really are. And by getting into that behavior of self-love and self-management, you're able to then be clear on, okay, this is me, that's them. But because it's very easy to get pulled into everybody else's stuff, because it's like you have to be continually talking to yourself. Now, Mary, that's Susie. That's not you. It's just, or something that, might trigger something. Will say, what's this all about? And I think it's just having the discipline. I think once you get back to your true, authentic self, you start realizing you have all kinds of talent for saying, oh, take a moment, take a breath, take a step back. And it's really, you've changed your thought process. So it's, like I said, it is a challenge, but the deeper you go, and in my experience, the more journaling you do, and meditation and things that are self-care items, that helps you get and keep your boundaries.
Yeah, so that's interesting the way you speak. It sounds like it takes practices to not just to reinforce, but to embody what self-love is. So it's not just realization or an understanding that happens in a moment in time. Is something that we continue to evolve and grow and process, right, Mary? It doesn't end. Oh,
definitely. And
really.
I think that's, you brought up a very good point. You know, we are processes, and we have historically been treated as structures, you know, and even with like the medical profession, they see us as, you know, a set of organs or something, or organic or structural. But no, there's just so much more going on inside of us, that it's just like, you know, the mental, the spiritual as well. It's just as you said, it is a thing that you just have to make a commitment to yourself that, okay, I'm going to do my journaling, I'm going to do my meditation. You have to do that, you know, consistently, and just say, again, a big behavior change. It's like, okay, yes, being number one and taking care of myself and loving myself, that's the starting point.
Yeah.
It's not an afterthought as the way we've been raised.
Yeah, I agree. I love to think that we can one day realize that we are unconditional love, that we are the fulfillment of that, the fulfillment of life itself. There's actually nothing that's not unconditional love in a way, but it feels so conditioned. And that's why we need the practices to kind of remind ourselves of who we are. That's kind of an interesting movement in dance, right, Mary? That we have to be reminded of who we are. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's how it works.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, again, this just the whole experience of, yes, you know, I'm number one, and taking care of ourselves. Like you said, we have to be reminding ourselves, like, don't go there, or but do it. But getting to the point where you say it in a loving, parental way. And I think that's the whole thing, is the whole tenor, because we're just so used to beating ourselves up and doing this and doing that out there and all that type of thing. But I think, as you said, it's a continual. That's why it's so important to have daily practices for you, because it's like, it's a very big behavior change. And this thing, like you said, since we are processes, there's always going to be something or whatever that comes up, and it's just like, oh. But I think the cool thing is that when you have the practices, that when you have these things daily in place for, YOU, you get to the point where, oh, I see what's happening here, as opposed to saying, oh, I don't know why that person's, driving me crazy or whatever. You say, it's okay to take some time and take a moment and, respond. And the response might be nothing at all, just listening. So, and that's, again, very different, because we're so used to reacting and stressing ourselves out, and, we're into this old, unhealthy way of loving ourselves and caring for ourselves, which is almost non-existent in that way of behavior.
How did you discover this connection between journaling and self-love, Mary?
I believe it's just an evolution. I just came to the understanding once that I thought, wow, journaling is really helping me understand the things that I'm thinking. Wait a minute, those thoughts are just thoughts. They're not, and most likely there are other people in that. So I think it was just a question of, again, just having my daily self-care journaling practice, that I'm showing up for myself, whoever I am on that particular day, and just writing. And I'm a big fan of just doing the morning pages routine, or the free writing, and just getting it out. And it's just like you unlock some garbage or whatever, and you get more of yourself. You're freeing up more of your true authentic self, and then the resource will appear, and again they'll help you change the voice that you've been using on yourself, and kicking the crap out of yourself. And like I said, I think just trust, and just the whole thing of trust and confidence. And it's just like, and that is what they say, and becoming a friend to yourself. And I think that's what leads you to self-love, because love is friendship on fire.
Another question I have for you about journaling is, can anyone journal? And what about those people who don't really like to write? How do they learn to interact and cultivate this practice of journaling?
I would say that I have not come across anyone who says that they are a writer, or who doesn't not like to write, or whatever. Everyone has had some type of or many experiences of bad experiences with writing. So that, again, you're going in. We're all going in with pre-existing conditions. So what the thing is, my suggestion and recommendation with people is to just take 5 minutes and just or a short period of time, and just get a pen and a notebook, and if you want your favorite cup of tea, and just sit there with the pen and the paper, and just get into how am I feeling? What's going on? And be aware that your head will be going crazy, your inner critics, all that kind of stuff. You'll be hearing voices that, you shouldn't be doing this, and all that type of thing. And just letting people know that that's the natural process of getting started with journaling. And then when you feel like you want to, put your toe in the water, shall we say, write a question at the top of the page, and like, what is this journaling all about? Or who am I today? Or why does so-and-so always pick on me? Whatever it is, your journal loves questions. And then put the questions at the top of the page, and just write, and just have the experience of just writing. No thinking, just writing. No grammar, don't focus on but just focus on the experience, the adventure, isn't this interesting? And just go from there. And then set it 5 minutes or a timer, whatever works for you. Like I say, there's only one right way to journal, and it's your way. So that way you get into understanding who really lives in your body, and who you really are, and what you, again, my favorite 4-letter F word, feel, about. So it's going to be a new, exciting experience, but it's going to be scary too. But it's just like, you just gotta, like I say, hold your nose and jump in.
Yeah, that takes courage, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly does. Yeah. So we all have we're all very experienced at self-sabotage. So in addition to all the external, we all have a history of, really doing a whole lot of damage to ourselves. So
I love journaling. I love writing in general, of course. And it has been life transforming for me, writing. I cannot even imagine somebody not really going through the process of writing, of journaling, and not transforming in one way or another. It's almost impossible not to happen. That's how powerful it is, right, Mary?
Oh, yes. And that's what, one of my clients said to me the other day. She said, because she's only been doing it a short period of time, but she said, oh my gosh, this is really a whole life changer, transformative, all the words that you used. Absolutely.
When it comes to natural talents and gifts, in your book you say, we are born with natural talents and interests that stimulate and excite us. And that's true. And then I wonder, you mentioned already how we have lost contact with that natural gifts. And then my question is, what does it feel like, Mary, to experience that, to return or to uncover those natural talents? What does it feel like? Could you describe that?
I would say it was the ultimate full body, I'll call it the ultimate in-body experience. You know, we all talk about out-of-body experiences.
Right.
It is the ultimate in-body experience. And it's really just experiencing that, oh my goodness, that's who I am. And it's just, you know, I take a look at me with my singing, what came up with the, very early on with my, journaling was that I always wanted to learn how to sing. And it's just like, now I'm able to go out and really experience those types of things. And it's just like, oh, at first I was wondering, ooh, what's this all about? But it's like, I've just incorporated everything into me. And so the experience is just like, it's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's all encompassing. I just to really accept and understand that inside of all of us is a universe of infinite possibilities.
That resonates as well. I love the way you use the term in-body experience. I never heard it that way. And that is inspiring because when you think about it, of course, if it is a natural gift, innate gift, talent, then we are talking about wisdom. And wisdom, or the natural wisdom, will include everything. It never leaves. It kind of embraces all parts of life, not just some parts, as we usually do, not just the mental or the physical. It kind of puts everything together. I love that, though. I never heard it that way. So you just created that now, or have you written about the in-body experience?
No, I just, as we were speaking, I thought, again, just the whole, focus of our lives has been so much external. And, I had this great out-of-body experience and I traveled. But it's just like we're traveling internally now. And so it's like, it's an ultimate, embodiment, in-body experience.
I love that. I love that, this idea that we can do that. It seems like from that we'll become more natural in every way, in a sense of spontaneity too. So we are free to kind of explore our surroundings and the environment, the outside, because we don't see that happening. I clearly see that within myself still, like trying to be as spontaneous and natural as I can be, but I still have those programs, conditioned mental constructs at the level of the mind and body. So I wonder if there is like destination for that, which I don't believe in destinations, but you seem to be there already, Mary, in that sense.
Well, I thank you for that, but it's like I've been journaling for 23 years, so it's like I call it a consciousness continuum, and it's like as you so very well pointed out, it's a process that if you do the daily self-care, self-love practices, and you keep yourself as number one in your life, then that as you go through the process of doing the work, we say that further down the road, it's like I'm at the point now with my inner critic. He'll come up with some crazy off the wall thing, and I just give him the hairy eyeball, and it's like, he knows it's time to go out and play in traffic. So it's just, but it does get better. But the thing is there are no getting around the process. You gotta show up for yourself. You gotta work through the fears. You gotta face the demons internally and externally, and in a compassionate, confrontive way. And it's just like, it's and we're just so again programmed to want everything yesterday. It's like, I've been journaling for 3 days now and nothing's happened. I haven't had a breakthrough, those types of things. Because all those pre-programming and the pre-existing conditions is just like, they'll always be there. But the thing is, as you go do more of the daily self-care and self-love, and you'll find that it gets easier, and it's just like, and you won't say, I'm falling back or I'm doing something, but you do it in a lighthearted, childlike, loving way, as opposed to, oh, Mary, you're doing this again. So I think the tenor of your voice changes.
Can we one day really, let's say, become free of all those conditionings, Mary, of mind and body? Is that something that's possible to even strive for? Or, as you said, it's just a process, life is a journey, and we just live it one day at a time, one moment at a time?
I think I would say that's your answer about the day by day, living it one moment at a time, and just realizing that it's like, there's a whole new different way of thinking and living from the inside out, and just realize that you'll gain more power, more strength, more confidence, more freedom, but doing it step by step by step. And sometimes you'll be in the shower, you'll be cooking dinner, and it's like, oh, you'll have an aha or whatever. And then you'll start doing things that, without thinking. It's like, oh, I think I'll have a piece of chocolate or do whatever. And it's like, so it's like I said, I think it's the answer is very basic. It's just daily showing up for yourself and just really giving yourself a break, and getting yourself into the process of, saying the affirmations or doing the readings or, whatever, you find motivates you or turns you on or whatever. And it's just like, and just doing that consistently. And it's just like, and then, if you miss a day or whatever, not beating yourself out of the head, you're, beating yourself up for that. It's just like, again, just a whole new opportunities of treating yourself and putting yourself number one. So I just think that, and just really just realize that, oh, that happened, or wow, look how well I did with that interaction with the busybody neighbor next door or whatever. So it's just like, so you get these little things. It's like, it's not going to monumentally turn overnight, but it's just like, you'll find with doing the daily self-care and self-love practices that it's just like, you'll take the little victories and say, oh, damn, I'm good.
Praising ourselves, right?
Praising ourselves and just like, oh, that was a nice job. Or it's like, wow, your eyes looks really, bright today, or, whatever. So it's just looking at yourself in the mirror and just like, isn't that interesting how, whatever, you see. And just, I think, again, it's just a question of, it is challenging to go internally, and is a lot of work, and it's like there are no guidelines, and that's all. Like I said, there's only one right way to journal, and your way. So it's just the only guideline is that it's daily, and it's and you're doing the journaling consistently for yourself because that's the best way. And it's like you said earlier, by just doing it routinely, daily, you get to the point where it's just like, oh, wow, the freeing is just like, and you physically, mentally, and spiritually feel free. So, it's just like, and you just notice in your body, oh, wow, hey, my shoulder doesn't get, all whacked out or just mentally it's like, how I approach this differently, and how interesting that we had a very positive outcome in this meeting, or, and spiritually it's just like, yeah, you want to share your findings, your everything with other people. So it's just, like I said, the bottom line is everything the spiritual advisors and gurus have been telling us, that yes, when you come back to ground zero, to your heart and soul and mind and your whole being, and that's your starting point, then the sky's the limit.
So it's funny to think about it, that spirituality actually brings us back to the body. It's not the opposite.
Right. True.
In your book, you have so many beautiful phrases about self-love. There's one that I have here. You say, loving yourself puts you at peace and makes you feel at home in your body. In a deeper sense, self-love enables you to be more present, more connected to spirit, and to feel every wonderful sensation in your body. I mean, we are looking for summaries and, what's the ultimate message. But it seems to be very simple, isn't it, Mary? We are here now in a human body. So why not embrace, embody, and honor that? I mean, it's so obvious.
Absolutely. And I think, too, that's again, going back to the daily self-love, self-care practices. I find that, as my BFF, he's a junior in high school now. He said a long time ago, when we used to have play dates, at the end of our play dates, he used to say, or his writings or his artistry, he said, wow, I love my life. And that's the way I say today, I truly love my life. And that's what, the stress has been replaced. Serenity has replaced the stress and strain and self-sabotage, so I think, and it's too, another one of my favorite phrases is less is more. And it's just like, we come into this world, we're complex individuals, and we've super overcomplicated things, but getting back to who we are and loving who we are and knowing who we truly are, it's just like, that is the healthiest, most fantastic, freeing experience ever.
I love the journaling prompts you have throughout the book at the end of each chapter, and the questions. They're so powerful. And that's when you talked earlier about the questioning, the journaling, it's the best way to do it, to just ask a question.
Absolutely.
I love the chapter 7 to focus on joy and laughter. That's so light. It made me laugh just by looking at it. It gave me this lightness to read that phrase. And so many other inspiring chapters you have in the book. Thank you so much for doing what you do, Mary, again and again and again and again.
Well, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It's been a real joy having a discussion with you. It's just like, yeah. So I'm really pleased. Like I said, and my key now, that's one of the things that once you get to the point of inner serenity, unconditional, everlasting self-love, it's just like, you can then say, oh, I want to share me with the world, and I want to share this. I want to, do this. And it's like, you're able to, once you do the things that you need to do internally to get to unconditional self-love, then you're much more able to say, oh, this would be a good gift for so-and-so, or this is how I can help, as opposed to, oh, I have to go and fix everything, all that, the old ways. Like, you breathe, you have joy, you have laughter, and you want to share it with everybody.
Yeah, right. That's so beautiful. That's something that I absolutely love. This sharing, this community of doing this work together to help one another to grow. It's the most beautiful thing I can think about. So thank you for doing that, for being part of that healing community in this reality. And my last question to you is, what is another word for self-love?
Another word for self-love.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I say appreciation of who you are with all of the aspects of your being. I think appreciation, I think that's the best way to call it.
Yeah, which is very much connected to gratitude, right? It made me think about the gift of being here in a human body. It's already like a huge reason to be grateful, to be appreciative, although some of us have been born in bodies that we don't tend to appreciate for many reasons. What an interesting journey. I keep saying that because this is incredible to be in a human body and be able to explore these things, right, Mary? To have this opportunity to go deeper.
Oh, yes. That's the exciting part. It's like, it's a, deep dive. And there's always, another layer to go down into and all that. And it's just like, as I say, that's why I say inside of all of us is our own personal universe. And it's like, that's infinite and everlasting.
So it's got endless opportunities to have fun, to enjoy, and to appreciate
exactly,
ourselves, isn't it? Yeah. So thank you so much again for your presence in the healing world.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And my last technical question is, where can we find more information about you, your books, products, services, and future projects?
You can find me at Create Write, that's WRITE now.com.
Wonderful. And I'll also have the link on your podcast profile. Thank you so much again, Mary.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
You too.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Marielle McCarthy and her work, please visit createrightnow.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.